and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Today we are discussing what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets. We'll be taking a look at what's happening with USDC and Coinbase. We'll also be discussing the recent updates around Tornado Cash, a very popular cryptocurrency mixer. And we've got a lot of other news to discuss today. We're going to be looking at the CME Gap for Bitcoin. We're going to be taking a look at VITALIK moving some of his tokens. As I say, a lot to discuss today. So let's just get straight into it. First of all, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin here. And you can see we're trading at $26,050, up 0.03% in the last 24 hours. Woo! Some movement. Not much there. In the last week, we are down 11.19%. So it's not great in the markets right now. If we take a scroll down here, it is really a sea of red, unfortunately. If we take a look at the biggest gainers of the day, the biggest gainer is FTX token, FTT, which is up 4.92%. Now, is this off the back of the news we've got about SBF today? I do believe so. We will be discussing that in today's stream. I'm not a holder of FTT token. I don't think I will ever be a holder of FTT token. It's a token that has been very volatile and very news-based volatility, I would say. Not something that I'm keeping myself up to date on because I'm sick of hearing about FTX and SBF, to be honest. We have one article about him today, which we will discuss, but we'll be moving on swiftly from that. First of all, let's take a look at our first story of the day, which is about USDC. Now, USDC is a popular stablecoin, one of the most popular stablecoins we have in the market. I believe it's the second biggest stablecoin in terms of market cap. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. So what we can see here is crypto exchange Coinbase has reached a new agreement with Circle for an equity stake in the stablecoin issuer. Now, let's see what ranking USDC is. It's number 6 in terms of market cap in the entire cryptocurrency industry. And what we are seeing is actually what's happening here is let's get the right article up here. We go. Circle now will be the only issuer of the USDC stablecoin, and Coinbase acquires stake in Circle, dissolving USDC issuer Center. So Center will be dissolved, and Circle will now be the only issuer, with Coinbase backing them and being having an equity stake in Circle. So we can see here in this article, Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange in the US, has announced that it has acquired an equity stake in USDC issuer Circle. So they are going to share revenue generated from USDC, and USDC is to launch on 6 new blockchains. And we can also see Circle has carried out layoffs in July, so Circle have struggled slightly, but they've now got this massive investment from Coinbase. They are now equity partners, and they will both reap the rewards of USDC performing well in the coming months. We already know that we have some competition entering the market with PYUSD from PayPal. Will they be able to shake out the original stablecoins? Will PYUSD manage to take over some of that market share from USDT and USDC? It'll be interesting to see. I've seen a lot of speculation that TradFi will try and shake USDT and USDC out of the markets in some way, but obviously, that is just speculation. We'll have to see how PYUSD can get that market share and if that will have an effect on USDC in the future. But I see that Coinbase are trying to get their hands in many pies in this bear market ahead of the next bull market. And if they can do that successfully, it won't be a bad time for them when the market starts to move to the upside. We see this over and over again with cryptocurrency companies. If companies manage to acquire different pies throughout the bear market and really build their portfolio throughout the bear market and survive that bear market, they've historically been very, very profitable when the bull market is hit, because during the bear market, valuations are lower, the interest in investing is lower, so you can pay very, very cheap sums of money for very expensive companies in the bull market. So this is what we're seeing here, I believe, and I believe that Coinbase will really benefit from this within the next couple of months. But let's take a look at the next story here and see what else is going on. So we have today in the chat, Jason Smith says, buy the dip, sell the high. Good morning, good evening from Australia, actually. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. If you have not already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. I want to talk about what's going on with Ethereum. So Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has actually sent $1 million of Ethereum to Coinbase. Now, is this something we should be concerned about? What does this mean? Now, first things first, $1 million in terms of the amount of the market cap of Ethereum is nothing. If he chooses to sell this Ethereum, it won't affect the price of Ethereum at all. And $1 million to Vitalik Buterin is not the same as $1 million to me and you. This guy has millions and millions of dollars. So $1 million in his book probably isn't that much. Does this mean he's selling as well? Maybe not. But if he is selling, let's say Vitalik Buterin is selling, and this $1 million transfer from Ethereum into Coinbase is for him to sell that Ethereum, is that a concern? Well, some people track these wallets. We can track cryptocurrency wallets on the blockchain. It's a public blockchain. We can all see the transactions recorded on that. And some people look and track the wallets of the Ethereum founders and co-founders. And they have a history of being able to sell the top pretty well. Now, obviously, we're not at the top of the markets right now. In fact, we're very far down in the markets right now. But does this indicate that we're at a local top? Is this something we should be looking at? Who knows right here? We don't even know if this guy's selling. All we know is he sent that money to Coinbase, the centralized exchange. Now, if he is selling at this point in time because he thinks the markets are going lower, I believe he would be selling more than $1 million worth if that was his position and why he was taking this position. And I also see that if that does happen in the long term, typically it's not a bad thing for Ethereum holders, because when Ethereum do typically sell the top, which they have a pretty good track record of doing, they usually put those funds into the Ethereum Foundation, reinvest, and it is overall good for the Ethereum network. But what we're seeing here is he's just sent $1 million to Coinbase. He may not even be selling these tokens. He might be moving them onto other networks. He might be testing out Coinbase's new layer 2 network, Base, which is on the Ethereum network. All of this is still yet to find out. We don't know what's going on yet. This is all we know, but it's pretty interesting and it's pretty exciting that we can see this all clearly on the blockchain. This is something that Bitcoin and blockchains benefit for us. Let's see what's going on here. The stream looks like it's being a little bit ropey. Let me know if it's jumping in and out and if there are any problems or that was just a quick blip. But let's continue on to the next story here and see what else is going on today. So Tornado Cash loses court battle over US sanctions. So what we've seen here, Tornado Cash is a cryptocurrency mixer. Essentially, what you can do with cryptocurrency mixers is you send your cryptocurrency into this protocol, and the smart contract will spit your cryptocurrency back out again to a wallet address that you've provided. And it's very hard to track where that cryptocurrency that comes out came in from, because there's multiple transactions going in and out at once. So it mixes all the cryptocurrency together and then it spits all back out again. So it really removes the transparency of a blockchain, and it really makes it really difficult to track where cryptocurrency has come from prior to that cryptocurrency mixer, or in this case, the mixer is called Tornado Cash. Now, we have seen the US government saying, we don't like this. Now, obviously, when you're talking about cryptocurrency mixes, you can see how these can be used by bad actors in this space. Who wants to remove the trail of where their cryptocurrency has been? Well, hackers. They're the first example of people that use these in malicious intent. So what we can see here is in August 2022, the OFAC placed Tornado Cash in its specially designated national sanction list as bad actors, including notorious North Korean hackers, used the mixer to launder large amounts of stolen cryptocurrencies worth billions of dollars. And the department also designated smart contracts and wallets associated with the protocol. Now, we have seen a lot of criticism towards this decision, and I believe that this criticism is pretty fair. What we're seeing here is somebody has made a protocol. They've built a smart contract that is a cryptocurrency mixer. They've deployed that onto a decentralized network, and now the developers of this project are actually being put in jail for a period of time for creating this piece of code, essentially. Is this code free speech? This is the whole debate that we're seeing here, and the lawsuit was backed by America's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Coinbase, and this lawsuit is actually an appeal around this. And 6 individuals, including crypto developers, filed for a summary judgment of their complaints against the FOAC. So they're arguing that Tornado Cash is not a foreign national or person that OFAC could sanction, and that the designated smart contracts are not property that can be regulated under the Departments Act. They further insisted that the agency's actions violated their rights to free speech and trampled upon those of law-abiding Americans who use the privacy-focused mixer for legitimate transactions. Now, the Tornado Cash representative asked the court to set aside the law that banned the protocol in the country as the move was unlawful, but unfortunately what we're seeing here is the Tornado Cash loses court battle over the US sanctions. So unfortunately they have not won that debate. I mean, I understand the opinions of both sides here. But it's pretty interesting that this guy, as the developers and the representatives at Tornado Cash have created these smart contracts and put them onto a decentralized network. Whether people are using that for good or bad, is that their fault? Is that their problem? So in the ruling against this decision, they've denied the plaintiff's motion, agreeing with the government that OFAC's designation did not exceed the agency's statutory powers, as Tornado Cash qualified as an entity that could be regulated as such. He added that the protocol has a property interest in the smart contracts it has developed, so they qualify to be sanctioned too. So they've made a quote about this here, but what we're seeing here is essentially more problems down the road. Tornado Cash is a cryptocurrency mixer that has been banned in the US. But we will be hearing more about this in the news in the coming weeks, I believe. Before we continue with today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's see what's going on in this next story here. We have the SEC charges fintech firm that promised 2,700% return on crypto. So Titan agreed to pay about $850,000 in civil penalties to affected investors after offering or promising $2,700, 2,700% return. So obviously, I mean, when you see percentages like this, surely you understand that there's some risk involved here. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But people seem to forget that rule in cryptocurrency because there are opportunities to make 100x returns on cryptocurrency investments. But when you're putting that return in someone else's hands, I mean, it just seems blatantly obvious that something was going to go wrong here with 2,700% return on crypto promised, but it's happened and now they are facing their charges. It doesn't seem like a lot to pay, to be honest, compared to other cases in crypto, but let's move on to the next story here and see what else is going on. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We are discussing here a spot Bitcoin ETF. What could it do to the value of Bitcoin? Now, we've all been talking about this, and I do know that we've all been feeling a whole lot more bearish in the last week because the price of Bitcoin has crashed pretty significantly and pretty unexpectedly. So people are feeling super bearish, but I like to look at the bigger picture still. Yes, we have some concerns about the general economy, nothing to do really with cryptocurrency, but the traditional economy, what's happening there and the problems we could be facing thanks to Evergrande in China, potentially seeing problems come out of that, which would affect the entire global financial system, not just the Chinese economy. And the effects of that could be pretty devastating for a period of time for the stock market, for the cryptocurrency market, and that's just making people feel bearish left, right, and center. But let's zoom out again and let's look at some positive things again. We still have the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and they could still bring some positivity to the cryptocurrency space. We also have the Bitcoin halving in April 2024, which has historically triggered bull markets. Now, that is still not it's around the corner, but it's not soon enough in my opinion. We've got 9 months until the Bitcoin halving. And in that time, yes, we may see some volatility thanks to some problems going on outside of cryptocurrency, but we do still have some positivity left to come. So we've got the spot Bitcoin ETFs. Will they be accepted? When will they be accepted? What will they do to the value of Bitcoin? These are all the major questions here. Now, it's highly anticipated they'll be accepted around March 2024, and it's highly anticipated that they will all be simultaneously accepted. Now, obviously, there is still a possibility that they could be denied, but I believe there's a high probability they will be accepted. And what will that do to the price of Bitcoin? Let's talk positive for a minute, and then we'll take a look at some negative news, like the CME gaps. They don't look good, I can tell you that. We can see here market maturity, the cryptocurrency market So these are factors to consider when we're looking at spot Bitcoin ETFs. So first of all, we have market maturity. We are seeing Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market mature very, very quickly. Now we've seen, obviously, it's been around for over 10 years now. We've seen a massive change in the price of Bitcoin. We've seen a massive change in the entire cryptocurrency space. We are obviously looking specifically at Bitcoin for these spot Bitcoin ETFs. And I think that's a really important point because Bitcoin is far, far ahead of the rest of the cryptocurrency market, I believe. The rest of the cryptocurrency market is still trying to build and develop upon itself to become better and to become a technology that we can adopt and use in day-to-day life, whereas Bitcoin is already at its end goal. It is at the point in which we can use it, and it's never going to change. This is the product. It's here, and we're using it now. I mean, obviously, we have the Lightning networks and things like that to speed up transactions, make them cheaper, and all that good stuff. But the underlying fundamentals of Bitcoin is we can send money peer-to-peer all across the world, and we can do that through Bitcoin, and that is there, and that's not going to change. That's here to stay. So what we can see here is we are getting market maturity here. People are understanding Bitcoin a lot more as well. Obviously, we have some concerns following around regulations. Now, the US have not made regulation easy. We have a lack of clarity around regulation in the US, and that was proven perfectly well in the Ripple case. So Ripple have been against the SEC for a couple of years now, and the courts actually did rule a couple of weeks ago that the SEC were wrong and that XRP is not a security in 3 of the 4 instances. Now, maybe the SEC are going to appeal this case, but by the courts not being able to agree with the SEC in that scenario, that proves that the clarity on regulation is not clear. So we do still have a long way to go in terms of regulation in the space, but we're seeing we're developing in that department, we should say. What else have we got here? Market sentiment. So market sentiment plays a significant role in determining price movements. I know that a lot of people in cryptocurrency are incredibly bullish on these spot Bitcoin ETFs. If these get accepted, we are going to see a huge amount of excitement in this space. Institutional adoption is something that I expect these ETFs could bring. People like Larry Fink and other leaders in Bloomberg, in BlackRock, and other massive institutions getting involved in crypto, and they also want to get involved in crypto, and they educate themselves to learn how. What else do we have on this list here? Supply and demand dynamics. We have that Bitcoin halving event in April 2024, which historically has triggered a bull market, something I'm keeping an eye on. What else are we looking at here? We have Bitcoin's goal of being a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. Is this a negative? Is a spot Bitcoin ETF a negative? Let's talk about that quickly. Now, a lot of people, obviously, Bitcoin is a decentralized, trustless, peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, which directly contradicts the industry that would approve it for an ETF. So, having Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer payment system. That's the underlying fundamentals of Bitcoin. That's why we all like Bitcoin. That's why we're all in Bitcoin. We want to have a peer-to-peer payment system where we can send currency across the world for a small transaction fee in a matter of minutes or seconds, in fact. And what we're seeing here with these spot Bitcoin ETFs, does that contradict that? Well, yes, it does. We're the spot Bitcoin ETF. It's an ETF, an exchange-traded fund that is backed one-to-one with Bitcoin. So when you buy like this stock, essentially the ETF stock, you are getting that same price movement in your portfolio for investors. Now, obviously, that means that if you've got a Bitcoin spot ETF stock, that's not a peer-to-peer payment system. You can't transfer that across the world in a matter of minutes. It's a stock. So you're not getting those same fundamentals as Bitcoin, but we're still seeing institutions and investors looking to get exposure to the cryptocurrency space. And I think that's a positive because as they educate themselves about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin more and more, they'll understand the benefits that it brings, and maybe people will move from investing in spot Bitcoin ETFs over time into actually investing in Bitcoin and having self-custody and all the other benefits that Bitcoin can bring. But that's the rest of that article, I think. I think we should move on from that one and see what else is going on in the world of crypto. Before we continue today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We have Kenyan Parliament forms 15-man team to investigate WorldCoin project. Now, this WorldCoin project has had a lot of controversy over the last couple of weeks. A lot of governments are saying, I don't like this thing. I'm not sure if we want to keep this. Regulatory concerns left, right, and centre. We are seeing A report from local media in Kenya saying the country's parliament has put together a 15-member team from departmental committees on administration and internal security, communication and innovation, and tourism and wildlife to examine the operations of the controversial crypto project. So WorldCoin is a project that is co-founded by one of the founders of OpenAI, which created ChatGPT. And this token has got a huge amount of attention. Regulators all over the world are not too sure what to make of this project just yet, but it's caught attention of the regulators and of the governments globally, so we are seeing more movements of this. So the intense scrutiny of WorldCoin activities is not peculiar to just Kenya. Data protection agencies in Europe, France, Germany and Argentina have commenced investigations into the controversial operations of the new crypto project. So if you are an investor of WorldCoin, I would recommend checking out this article. I will drop the link to this in today's chat. Thank you very much to everybody who is in today's chat today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. What do we have here? An unknown crypto wallet has quietly accumulated $3 billion of Bitcoin. Now, I've seen some speculation about this on cryptocurrency Twitter this morning. What could this be? Is this BlackRock or other institutions, Fidelity, that have filed for spot Bitcoin ETFs, accumulating some Bitcoin ahead of their acceptance? Or is this just a centralized exchange, reorganizing some of their wallets and changing things around? Who knows? But we can see through the transparency of the blockchain that there is a wallet that has accumulated over $3 billion of Bitcoin since the 8th of March, and they have become one of the biggest wallets in the entire Bitcoin network. So we can see here they are the third largest holder of Bitcoin worldwide. So the ascent was accomplished in just over 3 months and has ignited speculative theories concerning its owners. So based on information from BitInfo charts, the wallet in question received its initial Bitcoin deposit on the 8th of March. In the next 3.5 months, the wallet has amassed an impressive 118,000 Bitcoin, over $3 billion at current market prices. So is this BlackRock entering the market? Is this centralized exchanges like Binance or Coinbase restructuring their wallets? Jerome in the chat says it's his. Who knows? Who knows at this point in time? Let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is going on. So SBF had been granted day release to work on his case, and we are seeing off the back of this FTX pump, or FTT token pump slightly, 4.63% up to $1.08. It is our biggest winner of the day. In the last 24 hours, it has moved more significantly than the rest of the markets. I mean, 4.63% is the highest gainer of the cryptocurrency markets in the last 24 hours. That's poor for us in crypto. And for it to be FTT, it's not what I want to see. So we can see here a judge has granted SBF day release while he is in jail. He tried to get 5 days per week released to talk to his lawyers, and that's just absolutely absurd. But we can see here a judge has issued an order allowing the disgraced founder approximately 7 hours of day release to meet with his legal counsel on the 22nd of August, and he will be granted access to a laptop and a Wi-Fi device. So the reason that he is being under strict conditions right now is because he has been accused of witness tampering, and he faces serious charges following obviously FTX implosion in November 2022 and the other 12 charges that he has against him following this case. A very, very big problem for crypto. Will this FTX thing be a net positive for crypto overall though, or a net negative? Well, I was speaking about this on a show just a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to drop the link to this article in today's live chat today. Is FTX going to be a net positive or negative for the cryptocurrency space? Well, we look at this and there is obviously the argument that any press is good press for crypto, but there is obviously the argument that people outside of crypto know about this right now. I talk to people and I say, oh, I work in crypto, and they say, oh, what happened to that cryptocurrency company that fell, the FTX last year? And I say yes, but is that going to completely destroy the entire cryptocurrency space? No, I don't think so. I mean, the new CEO is looking to relaunch that exchange once again. There was a couple of bad actors in the space. Yes, it's giving cryptocurrency a bad name. Yes, it's caused a lot of people to lose a lot of money, and that's absolutely awful. And yes, it's scared a lot of people away from the cryptocurrency space. But we do have some benefits from this thing as well. We're seeing people moving over to self-custody more and more. We're seeing other other centralized exchanges try and be more and more transparent. And yes, it may have caused the regulators to tighten up on cryptocurrency, but that is something that was bound to happen. And we just needed a trigger for that to take place. And the sooner we can get clarity on cryptocurrency regulation and we can get that regulation in place to allow the cryptocurrency space to continue to grow, that's when we're going to see the biggest wave of adoption. We needed to have a regulation in at some point, and we needed to have the regulator step in and try and control the space, because this wasn't a space that the regulators were just going to ignore forever. And FTX may have been a trigger for these regulators, but it was going to come sooner or later, and I'd rather it come at the bottom of a bear market than at the top of the bull market and really mess with all of those high prices. So that's what we've seen here, but let me know in the chat what you think about that, because that's an interesting debate. We've got one last article today, and it is about the Bitcoin CME Gap, and then we'll be analysing the price of Bitcoin and seeing what's going on in the cryptocurrency market. So here we have a Bitcoin CME Gap at $20,300, and does this hint at more pain before we moon? Who knows? Like, let's talk about this Bitcoin CME gaps quickly. So if you go to trading view and you go to BTC 1 exclamation mark on the chart, so you'll see this Bitcoin futures sign here. And this shows us the CME gaps. Now, the CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now, this is an exchange, this is the world's largest derivatives exchange, and they are operational every Monday to Friday. And when they're not operational, the markets just stop. It doesn't happen in crypto, but it happens in the stock markets. The markets just stop. It just freezes. That ticker at the price point there, it just freezes. And then on Monday, when they become operational again, it just starts again from the current trading price. Now, obviously, Bitcoin is tradable all over the weekend. And what we see as a result of this is a gap in the CME chart for Bitcoin. So you can see it here on the Friday, we were trading at $28,870. And then on the Monday, we began trading at $27,335. And it creates a gap in the CME chart. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, why is this really relevant? And it actually is very, very relevant, because these gaps act like magnets for the Bitcoin price. There's a high probability, if you look at these gaps, that these gaps get filled. Now, to fill a CME gap, we see the price of Bitcoin trading within that price range after the gap has been created. Now, there's a high probability that these gaps get filled pretty quickly after they've been created, as in within a couple of days. But overall, there's a very high probability that they get filled at some point in time. Now, if we take a look at this, you can see we have some CME gaps that have not yet been filled and are therefore still acting like magnets for the Bitcoin price. I'll start off with the positives and then I'll pull us all the way down to the negatives. So we have one from back in May 2022 at $35,300. That CME gap is one I'd like to see us fill. That would be a nice positive move for the price of Bitcoin. Is that looking likely with some uncertainty in the markets right now, thanks to what's going on with China and Evergrande? To me, not just yet. If we take a look at what other CME gaps we've got here, we're looking at a bit more closer time frame. So this weekend we created one at $27,500. Obviously that is higher than us right now, but we have another one down here at, unfortunately, $20,345, acting like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. Do you think we're going to go down and touch that? Well, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart and do some analysis and see what's going on here. So let's pull up this chart. I would like to say, first of all, that we've been talking here on the channel for a very long time about this level of support here, that has been a level of support since the start of the year, the 1st of January, which we've strongly bounced numerous times, which we unfortunately broke just a couple of days ago. Now, this line has been on our chart for a very, very long time, but unfortunately, I didn't really listen to it when it came to my own portfolio, so I was slightly disappointed when we saw this big move to the downside in the last couple of days. What we are seeing here, though, is we are still in an uptrend on this daily chart. Now, whether I think we're going to hold that for long is another question. Right now, we can see here, we have higher highs and higher lows, and we've not yet broken this low here. So that is at around $24,880. We are currently trading at $26,000. If we break below this level of support here, so let's pull this up. Let's remove that scribble and do this a little bit more professionally, Jess. If we take a look at this point here and we do a horizontal line, $24,800. If we break below that, that daily chart uptrend has been broken, and we could be in for a detrimental move to the downside. Just be prepared for this. I know We've seen a lot of sideways action over the last couple of months, and that is what we were anticipating for the next couple of months. But the uncertainty in the landscape has changed thanks to what's going on with Evergrande and some concerns about the general economy and what can come in the next couple of months. It's very uncertain right now. It's very hard to tell. We're on the brink of some really positive news and some really negative news here, and no one really knows what's going to come first, what's going to hit us first. I really feel like we're sat on a fence right now, and we don't know which way we're going to fall. So I'm preparing myself for all scenarios. Obviously, nothing is financial advice, but I am feeling very, very uncertain about the markets right now. So I'm preparing myself for everything, ready to either get more or get rich, essentially. But that's what we're looking at here. Randy says, I was able to submit a withdrawal request for the Bitcoin from my BlockFi wallet yesterday. Hopefully it will be approved soon. Yes, so that's pretty good news there that we're seeing. Obviously, BlockFi is one of the companies that did not make it through the turbulent times of 2022 for cryptocurrency. And we are now seeing people eventually on the right track to getting some of their funds back from that period of time. It's been a lot quicker than what happened in Mt. Gox. So at least we can be grateful for that. But that is really all we have for today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I really hope you have enjoyed today's stream. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. That's all from me.